Do you wave your terrible towel when Renegade plays? Reach for a tasty cake when JJ shouts, "He scores!" Does the sound of an F1 engine make your heart race? Doing push-ups with a Nittany Lion after a TD? Then lend us an ear, and we will share the exhilaration of Steelers football, the excitement of Flyers hockey, the nail-biting finishes of F1, and the pride when we yell, "We are Penn State." Welcome to the SteelFlyers Show, the strangest combination of sports fandom since pineapple was put on pizza.
Hey, it's a bird on the wire, and your host, SteelFlyers.
Hey, thank you very much for that great introduction. Your co-host, RoNece, thank you very much for joining us.
Hello.
I'm your host, SteelFlyers, and oh my gosh, we've got a lot of stuff to get into, so we're going to just dive right in.
Not today, it's a little chilly.
Not today, it's a little chilly, yeah, we're not going to be diving in any pools lately, but...
Or in our basement.
Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, we've had a little technical glitch here at SteelFlyers All Sports Network studios. There we woke up the other morning with 3 inches of water in the basement. So
thanks, Ida.
Yeah, thanks, Ida. Our area received about 6.5 inches of rain, and a lot of places around it were flooded out, and so a lot of heartfelt goes out to a lot of people that were affected by that storm, especially those in Louisiana. Yeah, and all parts north of landfall, where Ida brought lots and lots of rain, especially like in New York where the subways were flooded and things of that. I believe there was close to 50 people that lost their lives because of Ida. So, heartfelt prayers for that. So, lots of things we're going to get into, and one of the things is we are 1 week away from the Steelers kicking off the regular season.
I can't believe it's already time for football. It just can't be.
And, we've got week 0.
For what?
Well, this is, okay, I guess this is not, maybe this is week 1 now, I guess. Week 0 is usually the first week of college football.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they call it week 0. I don't know. Whatever.
It's probably usually just like a high school we call glorified. Oh, I shouldn't say that. That's kind of mean.
No, because Penn State came right out with a Big Ten matchup right away.
Yeah.
In Wisconsin.
Right.
You know what I mean? So to open up their season, in Wisconsin. So we're going to talk about our favorite Nittany Lions, and we got a chance to do some push-ups here at the end zone for that.
Yeah.
Even though they were away for the opening game. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm, for sure. And we got Steelers coming up here next Sunday for their first game of the season, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about there for the Steelers as well too, because some sad news and some other news as well too. First of all, prayers go out to Tunch Ilkin
and his family
and all his family, and really appreciate all he did as a broadcaster, being part of the crew there with the guys. It was always a treat to listen to Tunch. He always pretty much called it like he saw it. That's kind of just how he was, and
a lot of people really enjoyed him.
Yeah, and he's going to be sadly missed, and it's a real shame. But he passed away at 63 years of age. He fell victim to ALS. So really, prayers and thoughts to his family as well too. Well, we got some other Steelers news that we're going to talk about too as well. Plus the fact that we got game time coming up here soon as well too. And we got some Formula One news also as well to kind of get into a little bit. So
yeah.
We had the debacle of last week's race of Spa, where they pretty much sat in the car and said, "Yeah, it's raining."
Yeah.
It's raining. Wait, no. Hold on. Let's get everybody in the car, and then drive around the track for 3 laps, and then get everybody out of the car and go, "Yeah, it's raining."
No, after an accident. That's what killed me. They waited for somebody to have an accident and then decided, hey, it's a little dangerous.
Yeah. I mean, at least nobody was hurt in the accidents or anything like that. So, I mean, it is what it is. So, there was no race at Spa-Francorchamps last week, but they are in Van de Hoort, Netherlands for this race here. And this is the first time they've been here since the early 80s, I believe, as well here. And go figure, it's a huge Max Verstappen contingency in this one. Oh, and also, gosh, just when you thought summer was still kind of hanging on, we got Flyers Development Camp.
Wow.
We've got, that just ended. They had about a week or so where most of the players were in town.
Okay.
For development camp.
I think I remember seeing something on the Instagram for that.
Yep. A lot of players there. They had even a 3-on-3 little tournament there at the end.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And so training camp for the NHL is going to get ramped up here shortly. Like within the next 2 weeks or so.
Wow. I mean, can you believe it? We're going to get hockey, a full season of hockey, hopefully.
Well, yeah, because we got preseason hockey coming at the end of September.
Right.
Right. So, training
Let's
camp.
Keep our fingers crossed that there's a full season of hockey.
Well, we got a lot of things to talk about, not only with the Flyers, with the latest comings and goings with the Flyers here, but also NHL news, where they released the protocols for COVID-19 for this coming year for the players and staff and, the whole 9 yards and the schmigiggle. So we'll get into that a little bit too. One of the first things I do want to talk about is the fact that it happened yesterday and it's pretty fresh. And that was right, folks. Our Nittany Lions, we were doing push-ups.
In the end zone.
In the end zone for the Nittany Lions. They pulled out a squeaker.
Yeah.
To a much higher ranked team than Penn State.
A lot of people called for Ohio State to win, correct?
No, not Ohio State.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. It's
Wisconsin.
The Badgers. Yeah, the Wisconsin Badgers.
It was the Red. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was the Red. But they played in Wisconsin, so very rare that Penn State opens the season on an away note. Much less against a higher rated Big Ten opponent. Such as Wisconsin. So, right off, Penn State is, and they were ranked 19th.
Yeah.
Okay, which is a little lofty if you ask me. But
you think that's too high?
But yeah, I think it is. I really do. I think Penn State lost some key players from the defense and offensive side of the ball. And they've got a lot of good, prospects and stuff like that. But their team is very, 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 very young. Where they've got freshmen and stuff playing, freshmen and juniors, and very few seniors, things of that nature. And most of those have already moved on or were drafted last year, whatever the case is. So, having Penn State ranked 19th, and then they go ahead and go to Wisconsin and beat them.
That was
I mean, that game.
There was a lot of zeros in that game up until a certain point.
Well, on the scoreboard.
Yes, that's what I mean.
Okay, zeros on the scoreboard, but let's look at this game in some detail here. Let's see. Penn State Wisconsin had the ball way longer than Penn State. I believe it was 3-1. They had almost 3-1 play ratio against Penn State. The number of first downs they had was 3-1 against Penn State.
It was this is the one I found amusing, was the penalty yards.
Yes, there you go. That's not a 0 for Penn State. That's a big honking number.
It's a 79-yard honking number.
Compared to
42 for Wisconsin.
Okay.
How did we win this game? If you look at the numbers, how did we win? But I don't care, we won.
That's just it. If you look at the numbers in this game, it's like, how did we win? It's like, our running back barely had 100 yards rushing. The quarterback didn't have his best day. Wisconsin didn't even have their best day. They threw 2 interceptions.
Yep.
Right? It's like, okay, how did Penn State win this game?
So.
But we'll take it.
We'll take a win.
We'll take a win.
Especially against a
ranked Big Ten opponent in their house.
Right.
Because you know what that means, right?
We hurt their feelings.
No. See, when it all comes down to the end, right? They look at who did you beat? Well, at the time, Penn State beat a higher ranked opponent, right? So that counts as our strength of schedule. That's a good point for Penn State.
It's something in the good column.
It's something in the good column when it comes down to looking at making the playoffs.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just putting it out there.
Hey, we'll take a win when we can get a win.
Exactly. We'll take a win when we can put a win, and we'll take that. So congratulations on Penn State winning that game, which, woo! All right, they really shouldn't have. I mean, really, they shouldn't have. But, all right. We'll take the win. All right, cool. Okay, so let's see. Let's get this quickly out of the way here. I want to go over this real quick here because the reason why I want to say this really quickly is because this was probably the driver that I felt was my next favorite driver next to Michael Schumacher. Okay?
I can agree.
Right, and
he was my favorite driver.
Right, okay. And I imagine that at some point we'll get a dog and we'll name it Kimi or something.
I'm working on it. I'm trying. I tried to name Asti Kimi.
I know. But it wouldn't have fit, right? Because that just would not have fit. Anyway, we're talking about Kimi Räikkönen. We're talking about the Iceman. And he announced his retirement this last past week.
The one that everyone hates to interview.
Well, I mean, it's not that they hate to interview him. It's just that the guy is just... I mean, they don't call him the Iceman for nothing. I mean, he's the guy that quotes on the radio, telling his driver guy on the radio, yeah, shut up, I know what I'm doing. I mean, what? Okay, the guy's won a world championship. I guess you kind of have to take him for his word. I guess he knows what he's doing.
Right.
But calling it a career,
Well, I mean, he's been around for a while.
Well, he retired after the 2007 season and took a year off, basically, so he could do the rally racing and things that he wasn't allowed to do at Ferrari.
Right.
And then came back, and raced now for the last, couple of years now. And but yeah, Mr. Räikkönen is going to be calling it a career at the end of this season. And so congratulations to Kimi Räikkönen, a Formula One world champion in 2007 with Ferrari, also drivers champion that year too. So congratulations to that. A heck of a driver. He's always been one of my favorite drivers because he raced really well against Schumacher.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, there was a lot of respect there between those two guys. You know what I mean? And so, but Kimi was always my next favorite driver next to Schumacher.
Okay. So he also has COVID.
Yeah, as he announced that he was retiring, that he also had to announce that he tested positive for COVID and was going to miss
the race
the Dutch Grand Prix, and then will probably miss the next one because they're doing a quick little session of races here in a row, so he'll probably miss the next race too. So,
who do you think he'll take his seat?
Oh, it's Robert Kubica.
Okay.
Is taking the seat to join Anthony Giovinazzi.
Yeah.
in the Alfa Romeo team for this race, the Dutch Grand Prix, and then subsequently probably for the next one as well too, because he's their test driver or their reserve driver.
No, I mean when Kimi retires next year.
Oh well, that's going to be an open seat.
Yeah, who do you think will take that?
I would like to see Kubica back in.
You think maybe they'll move him up?
I would like to see. Yeah, I'd like to see him in. I think he's a pretty good driver. I'd like to see him with a good car and see what he'd be like. Like I'd like to put him in just a good car, see what he's like.
Right.
It's amazing when you put a driver in a good car and you know what I mean, and see what they're like.
Right. When you have a good car and a good driver, you can't go wrong, right?
Well, that's usually that's usually that's usually what they like to say and go with, but
yep.
But yeah, congratulations to Kimi on a very storied career. Lots of races, lots of wins, lots of podiums. A world championship to his belt, a driver championship to his belt. Nothing to sneeze at. One of the most respected and revered Formula One drivers to ever suit it up and put a helmet on and put a wheel in and drive around a track. I mean, guy was just.
Do you know that if he knows how to do the Scandinavian flick?
I think that he's probably was doing that while he was still wearing diapers. Because they get them kids when they're that young and they put them in them go-karts, right? I mean, well, you had to do a pet stop. Why? Because I had to change my diaper. But get back out there, kid. You're doing great, I'm just kidding, by the way. That's not.
No, it's just.
But they are really young, 6, 7.
Well, they learn how to drive on the ice, so.
Well, that's true. The skate. They put skates on kids when they're really young, 3, 4 years old. Put skates on kids. And,
it's like here we throw them in the pool.
Yeah, pretty much. Like I was.
Go swimming.
Right? Yeah, you're that age and they throw you in. All right, cool. If he sinks, well, go in there and get him. If not, hey, all right. You like the pool.
It was a different generation, I guess.
Yeah, we never threw anybody in purposely like that.
I just climbed in.
Yeah,
Apparently, when I was 18 months old, I climbed into the pool. Went swimming.
Really? Because I heard, from what I was told when I was that age, at 18 months, my mom had me in the pool, right? She was holding me, right? And letting the water sploosh up. And I just started swimming and kicking on my own. I was like, hey, all right, look at the kid go. All right, like, look at him go. All right. So, okay. All right. Well, I know we're kind of hopping around here and everything. And we got a lot of things to cover. That's why I'm kind of hopping around here a little bit. We did cover the Penn State game. And I'm glad to see that Penn State was able to open the season out with a win here. But I want to spend a little bit of time here talking about the Steelers.
Yeah, I'm really sad about Brown. Zach Brown?
Banner.
Thank you. I knew it was wrong.
That's all right. Okay, so some news out of Pittsburgh. It's not really news. It's been a couple of days now, but the fact that the Steelers have put Zach Banner, tackle, on IR, that hurts. Anthony McFarland, running back, on IR. That really hurts too. And the other big one is Stephon Tuitt on the IR. Now, from what I understand, all three of these players will be available within 3 weeks.
That's a good thing. So they're not, out for the season yet.
Right. They're not, I guess this isn't like the full IR or... Because usually if you get put on the IR, you have to miss at least 8 weeks.
Right.
Like you're eligible to come back after 8 weeks if you go out on IR. So I guess... I don't know. This is a special one, so okay.
Yeah, you know what? If we get him back, that'd be great.
Right. But the Steelers have done a little bit of moving and shaking here with their roster to accommodate. They brought back B.J. Finney. He was on their cuts during cutdown day. They brought him back to fill in the slot from Zach Banner. They're going to move. Good. They'll probably move Chucks over to play tackle on that side. Okay, and they'll probably move Dotson out and put B.J. Finney in at the guard spot there.
Well, it's always good when you can just bring someone in who already knows the system.
True, but not as good as.
Right.
Okay, so...
I mean, he was cut for a reason, but at least we get somebody that we don't have to re-teach.
And he wasn't really... I mean, I think it was more the fact that there was just more guys on the roster, and that was why, but... Now that they put, and he might go away too again once Zach Banner comes back. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where, hey, I guess it would be one of those things if I was that particular type of player. where if I was brought in because somebody got injured and then once that player got to be healthy again, that I would try to make it so that they couldn't take me out.
Right.
I would.
You had some incentive to do well. Exactly.
You know what I mean? You get a shot again to do, hey, all right, let's try and see what happens and go from there and so it is what it is, and we'll see how it goes. But I really, really, really want to get into the first game here with these Steelers because this is going to be right out of the gates, Pittsburgh has got a tough game at Buffalo.
That's hard. But hey, at least they're not playing in December.
True. That's true. That's a good way to look at that. Now, I was on with 5-Star Matchup, and we were doing his 5-Star Matchup radio. We were doing 5-Star radio.
On Tuesday night.
Tuesday nights, 8 o'clock. Go to his channel at 5-Star Matchup on YouTube. Check us out. Every Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. We're live, and we talk straight Steelers talk. And we were on there talking about the fact that, well, hey, what do you think the Steelers are going to be this year? How do you think they're, with the schedule they have, and, what do you think their record's going to be, and what their prediction's going to be, and, things of that nature, and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I think I kind of blew him out of the water a little bit, because I said that our first 5 games, I think Pittsburgh is going to be 5-0 or 4-1.
Really?
Yeah, in the first 5 games.
Okay.
And this is why I think this way.
Okay.
Our first 5 games are this. Okay? We got at Buffalo, then Las Vegas comes to Pittsburgh, Cincinnati comes to Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Right? So that's 3 games. Then we are at Green Bay.
Ooh.
And then Denver comes to us.
Okay.
Okay?
That's a really tough schedule.
Okay. And the next game right after that is Seahawks. Come to us.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we have our bye week 7. Okay, but what I'm trying to say is that I think Pittsburgh will be. I'll go all the way out to the bye then. I'll say the first 6 games.
Okay.
Okay, I'll say they will either be 5-1 or 4-2 or potentially 6-0. And the reason why I say this,
I'll give you 4-2.
The reason why I say this is this. It's the Canada effect.
You think so?
Yes, I think so. I think that this offense, with Ben running the show, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not throwing the ball 50 times a game, but throwing the ball maybe 25, 30 times a game.
If we could just maybe use different plays instead of the same 3 plays.
Okay, so throughout the week, I listened to a lot of the press conferences from the coaches and from players and things of that nature. And one of the things that stuck out to me that the offensive coordinator, Coach Canada, kept saying was putting the right players in the right situation.
That's a good way to look at it.
Now, all we've heard from Mike Tomlin is situational ball, situational ball, situational ball. Well, Mr. Tomlin, I'm here to tell you, buddy. Over the last 5 seasons, you failed at situational ball, sir. Quite massively.
I think
you have dropped off in the last 5 seasons. You have dropped off in December drastically.
December has not been good.
And you need to be winning in December.
Yeah.
Okay? When there are times when clock management has been put into question. There are times when field goals should have been made instead of other plays and things of that nature.
Instead of going for the 2-point
have been put into question. And so that makes me not have a lot of faith in some things. But I am going to say this. The Canada effect is going to be massive for Pittsburgh in the first 5-6 games.
Why only the first 5 and 6 games?
Because by that point, now the NFL has, we got tape on you now.
Yeah.
Right? So now after 4 weeks, that's when you start to see trends with teams. Okay. After 4 weeks.
That's very logical, actually.
Okay. So now you can start seeing tape of Pittsburgh now and seeing, these are the trends in Mad Canada. Right. So now that middle section of the schedule, Cleveland, Chicago, at Cleveland, home to Chicago, home to Detroit, at Los Angeles, at Cincinnati.
That takes us to the end of November, right? Or is that the beginning of December?
Yes, that takes us to the end of November, right? And then we got... This is the December schedule now. Baltimore, Minnesota, Tennessee, Kansas City.
Ooh.
Which is why I think that middle chunk, that Cleveland Browns, that Chicago Bears, Detroit Lions, maybe not Detroit Lions, maybe not Los Angeles Chargers, but Cincinnati's going to be tough. Baltimore's going to be tough.
Vikings are going to be tough.
Tennessee going to be tough. At Kansas City, that's the last game.
That's not going to be pretty.
That's the last game in December, right? And that's an afternoon game. That's the Sunday after Christmas.
That's going to be tough.
So, my prediction for the Steelers for this season, because they're going to play an extra game now.
Right.
Right. There's that one extra game, so there's week 18.
I mean, come on, guys. We can't go... They keep pushing it. They're going to end up playing football in May. It's going to end up...
It's going to be as bad. It's
like hockey, where you end in the end of almost July, and training camp starts in September. You got like a month off.
Don't get me wrong now. I love, 6 months of hockey?
It's 8 months.
I love 8 months of hockey.
If you include the preseason and all of that. And
the Stanley Cup and all that stuff. I love me 8 months of some hockey. That makes the off season that much shorter.
Hey, but never mind. We're going to get off on a tangent.
But I really feel Pittsburgh is going to be in the 12-5 range. That's what my prediction is for the Pittsburgh this year, is 12-5.
I hope you're right.
Will that be enough to make it to the playoffs? Will it be enough to win the division? Cincinnati is not going to be that easy of a team this year, and neither is Cleveland.
That's so weird that Cleveland might have an actual team.
And I think you're going to see Baltimore take a step back.
Yeah, I can see that.
Because, look, let's face it. This is the going on one last ride. You know what I mean? Ben's not getting any. I mean, if the guy wants to still play, if he can still play at the same level, then I'm all for it. And if he wants to keep playing, by all means, let him keep playing.
Let him keep playing, because we ain't got nobody to take his
place. Because I'm here to tell you, the next quarterback for Pittsburgh is not on the roster right now, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I'm so with you on that. If he wants to keep playing, let him.
Have an acupuncturist, masseuse, have a physical therapist, have everybody just waiting for him.
On call, No, don't do that. But if the guy wants to keep playing and he's still able to do it, then let him do it. I got no problems with that at all. What I have a problem with is that, And I think quarterbacks know it maybe sooner than other players. When you could tell in that last game, in that Super Bowl that Peyton Manning was playing in, that was not Peyton Manning.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
But he didn't have to do those 60, 70-yard bombs. He didn't have to, you know what I mean? They designed it around to accentuate his skills.
Right.
Right. His skills were being able to stand up there on the line, read the defense, and make the correct call. Right. And then he was physically capable of making the throws, but hey,
not
let's
80
not
times a
make
game.
him, let's not make him do it 40, 50 times a game and, whatever. So, I don't know. If I don't see any drop-off. I mean, I don't see him running around much, but I don't see any drop-off in his arm.
Well, that was the system he was in, though. That's what Finkner had him. He didn't let him run around like that.
Well, but he also had him throwing the ball 50 times a game, too. So we're going to see a much different offense.
I really hope so.
No, I'm telling you, we're gonna.
That's what I'm looking forward to this season. Even if we don't have a great season, if, maybe there's some other things that don't go our way, but I would like to see an improvement in our offense.
I'm really hoping that's going to be the case. I'm really hoping that the Banner injury is he's still recovering slowly from the ACL. He came back and played in one preseason game for a little bit and then really kind of hasn't done much since then.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering if he's might have had a little setback. So thank you, co-host, for joining. And McFarland, I have no idea what that is. And Stephon Tuitt was a knee injury that he's had in the off season, or has been dealing with in the off season, that he's not been able to come all the way back from right now too. So missing those guys for the first at least 3 weeks of the season is going to be tough. But like I said, I think Pittsburgh's going to shock people with their offense in the first couple weeks of the season, and they're going to win those games. And there's definitely going to be some games that they're going to lose, but I'm really thinking that we're going to see Pittsburgh 12-5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So there you go. There's the Steelers. What do you think?
I think I can't believe it's football season. I really can't. I'm looking forward to... I love... See, here's my thing with the games. I love the games, but I get so stressed out that I can't watch them. So I always have to wait, and then I can watch once I know what the result is.
Well, we're going to try to call some games this year.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to definitely try some call some games this year. We'll be live on the YouTube channel, so check that out. We'll be calling some of the games. I'm not sure which ones we'll be calling, but we'll be trying to start to do that now on Sundays and start to call the games here on the YouTube channel. So be sure to check that out here. I'll be looking forward to doing that, man. I can't wait to start doing that. It's going to be quite fun and quite interesting, I'm pretty sure. And I even got the GOAT, John, coerced. I said, hey, man, I'd like to do a football game. He's like, what do I have to do? And I said, well, you basically just do what I do for you. Oh, you mean like color and analyst? And I said, yeah. So he's like, yeah, all right, I'll do a football game. I'm like, all right, cool. So, I mean,
Hey, why not?
That's right. Be sure to check out John from Off the Wall Hockey. Man, I'll tell you what, if you aren't following him, man, you're missing out for sure. It's a hockey show for hockey fans. That's Friday night, every night. Or Friday, every Friday at 8 o'clock. Now, I can say it. It's every Friday night at 8 o'clock. Every Friday night at 8 o'clock. Hockey show for hockey fans. It's the Off the Wall Hockey. And then usually between Thursday night and Friday morning, sometimes we usually try to put out the Hockey Writers Inc. So you got to check that show out too. That usually comes out. And then we usually put that out on FlyersNittyGritty.com too. So check that out. Got a lot of great stuff going on here. Got a lot of things going on now that the studios are back in action and recovered from the flooding from Ida. So we're back in action, and yeah, look out for some swag.
Yeah,
coming out soon. Yeah, we're trying to strike some deals here to get some swag going. So be sure to scope that out. And one of the things here that I want to talk about is one of the most exciting things that I think is, that's right, folks, hockey season's just around the corner.
I know you're so excited about that.
I can't even begin to tell you the level of excitement that I have for a full NHL season with fully capacitated That's right. I just made up that word right now. Stadiums.
Well, yeah, maybe.
As of right now, today, at this time, wherever time zone you are or where you live, as of this time right now, depending on what time or location and where you live, that's the case. So now, first I want to talk about the NHL. Because that's the exciting part. We're going to get a full 82-game season.
And there will be like 8 games on in a week. I watch like 3 hockey games a day.
Well, there won't be like it was this past season where there were 4 hockey games a day. Sometimes there were more, like 8 or 9 hockey games a day. Because teams were playing almost every other day. Right? Well, no, that's not going to be the case. Now it'll be back to the way it was, where teams will play like 2 or 3 times a week, and then there'll be stretches where there's, I think there's going to be a mandatory bye week, and the best part.
What's that, honey?
Oh, ask me again.
What's the best part?
NHL's going back to the Olympics. Yes.
You're creeping out your partner here, honey.
Finally, they were able to right the boo-boo from 2018. It's like you want to walk up to Bateman and just go, smack! What are you doing? Because, well, look, the ownership was like, no, we can't have any of that. Well, you don't want to send our high-priced, multi-million-dollar talent over there for them to just win a gold medal for themselves?
Well,
how dare you want to do that?
I think the problem was the fear of injury.
That's what I just said.
No, you didn't. You said you want to go over and win a medal for yourself.
Right. How dare you want to go over there and win a medal for yourself, potentially risking injury that could affect our season?
Okay, I get what you're saying.
I mean, how dare you want to go over there to win a medal for yourself? Come on.
They're not winning it for themselves. They win for their country.
No. Every person that I've ever talked to who's ever suited up and played a game of hockey, and I've talked to a few, and I talked to a professional hockey player who was not from this country, who was able to suit up for his country, right? Mm-hmm. To play at World Juniors and to play at the Olympics, and to a player that is what they want. And I am all for that. Players want to represent their countries.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right, and so why are you denying them that fact?
Right.
It's not like these players are going to the ownership and going, yeah, I just want to win a gold medal for myself. No. They want to go win a gold medal because they want to represent their country to win a gold medal.
Right, because it's important.
Duh!
For a lot of countries, I know in the U.S. we're not as... I don't know the word. Excited anymore. I mean, we get excited about the Olympics, but it's not like a national pride thing. We're more about, the athlete. We're more excited about seeing Simone Biles or, somebody breaking a world record. And for some countries, it's the only representation they get sometimes in the world stage.
So you're right about that last part, the world stage part, for sure. That's the main reason why most of these players that are in the NHL, because the NHL is so diverse, and that's what has actually helped to grow hockey in the United States, has been the national team, has been the IIHF, has been the Olympics. All of those things have helped to grow the sport in the United States to the point where this past off-season or this past season, a lot of the players because the leagues were shut down, played in the United States in college.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what? College hockey in the United States has now become where teams have no problems drafting kids out of college hockey now in the United States. And European players now are starting to look at college hockey in the United States and going, ooh, I should be playing for them.
Right.
And, okay, so you get what I'm saying.
Right.
So that's what Olympics does.
Right. It's just such an important part of sports.
Now you take that to a country like, say, Belarus or the Czech Republic or Latvia or France, who doesn't really, I mean, you don't really associate those countries with hockey town, hockey countries. I mean, really?
I think France I would, but the other ones you mentioned I wouldn't. But
Czech
France,
Republic more so because there's a lot more Czech Republic players.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, but and the same thing with Belarus too, but like Latvia or even Germany or Italy or Japan or, I mean, look, the fact that you have the world stage and now you're starting to see these other countries putting up teams, and then you see the team or the sport growing in those other countries.
Right.
Okay, and so that's the beauty of it.
Well, that's my one rep, Paulina. Said she started watching hockey because of Voracek. Or it's Voracek, right? That's Czech. Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Prague.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, what? Okay.
So, we are very excited that we're going to see hockey players in the Olympics. So, we'll have an Olympic break, too, this year, right?
Oh, yeah.
That'll be, I think maybe they'll need that this year. Because we haven't had a full season in almost 2 years. They may not be...
Yeah.
They may need that break.
That's a good point, too. That really is a good point, because they very well may need that break because of... And then with the way everything went last year and everything like that. So, yeah, that's a good point. Because there's only going to be a select group of players that are going to go to play in the Olympics. Not the whole NHL is going to go and play in the Olympics.
Right. So those that aren't going get a little time to maybe heal, because it's about halfway through the season, right?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, so it'll give some injured players to heal and some other maybe some extra practice. You never know.
I understand why ownership has issues with it. I really do. Because, look, let's face it. When you break it all down, that $10 million a year player is the biggest asset on your money-making machine team that you own.
Right.
And if that $10 million a year player ain't there on the ice every bloody night to put butts in the seats, then now you're not winning.
Right.
Okay, see, that it's the trickle-down effect. So I understand where ownership is coming from.
Right.
I really do. However,
they should have the opportunity.
You cannot deny a player. I mean, they should have to sign a clause or something in their contract, or, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they put something in their contract that says that if you play in the Olympics and you get hurt and you're not able to continue, or, whatever.
I'm sure there is things in there about that.
Or we're taking insurance out on you because of this reason or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
And, so I'm sure there's those kinds of contingencies put into place. So I'm just glad to see that they have approved the players to play for the Olympics.
Right.
Okay. So while we're still on the NHL, we haven't even talked anything about the Flyers yet. While we're still on the NHL, I do want to mention a few little things here about the protocols that were approved.
Okay.
Just this past week.
COVID protocol.
COVID protocols for the 21-22 season for the NHL.
Talking about keeping players safe and viable and healthy and playing.
They basically followed the same they basically follow the same protocol as the NFL. If you are an unvaccinated player, you will not be allowed to travel back and forth between the United States and Canada.
Well, they said anyone who's unvaccinated. So that includes press, that includes any coaches, anybody that's not vaccinated will not be able to travel back and forth.
There's already been a coach that has resigned from the Seattle Kraken because he's unable to get vaccinated.
Oh, man.
So he's resigned.
Well, I don't understand why they can't just take a negative test.
That's a good question.
I'm trying to remember. They're trying to keep their players safe. I get it.
So, but all I wanted to do was point out that the protocol has been released, and it's basically and John and I talked about this on the show on Friday night, Off the Wall Hockey, Friday nights at 8:00.
Nice little plug.
Yeah, I like that. But we talked about it on the show. That it basically makes it miserable for those of you that are not vaccinated if you want to have anything to do with the team or unless you're a player. Because if you're a player and you're not vaccinated, you have to maintain social distancing during practices, during meetings, during everything else. You have to you have to wear a mask at all times. You have to be tested on a regular basis. You have to blah, 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 blah. You will not be allowed to travel back and forth to the United States and Canada if your team plays games in Canada. Almost all of the teams now play in Canada. If you are not vaccinated and you are not allowed to travel to go to play in those games, you will also forfeit your game check for that game. You will not be paid for that game because you are unavailable to play in that game due to being unvaccinated.
Okay, but what if you can't get vaccinated? You already said somebody had to leave the Kraken because they couldn't get vaccinated.
That was a coach.
Right, but what if a player can't be vaccinated?
But a player can still be part of the team and still play. They just won't be able to go to Canada.
Okay. Isn't there a game somewhere else this year, too?
Yeah, I believe that we'll get our crack research staff on that here right away, and we'll find out. I believe there is.
I thought I remembered.
Yeah, I think the Capitals are playing somewhere, and I can't remember who else it is. But yeah, any player who's not vaccinated will not be allowed to travel outside of the United States, unless there's not a travel ban.
Correct.
Right, so wherever they're going, if there's a travel ban, then they have to follow the travel ban rules. If there's no travel ban, then anybody can go.
Wait, hold on. I think I'll have to look more into that.
Okay, well, we might have to get back to you on that. But the fact that we haven't even talked about the Flyers yet, and we've talked about the fact that these protocols have been released. But these protocols include anyone who has access to club members, including players, which means media, broadcasters, photographers, anybody that wants to interview the players, be near the players, be around the staff, around the coaching staff, or anything like that will have to be vaccinated and show proof thereof. If they do not, they will not be permitted.
I mean, they got to do what they got to do. Got to remember, these are very expensive things they're trying to put together. And
it's like we talked about at the beginning where they look at these guys, with the Olympics. These guys are looked at as assets. If a guy is sick because of COVID, that means that he's not going to be on the ice. If he's not on the ice, then potentially the team isn't winning and blah, 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 blah. So, just wanted to mention that. Just wanted to get that out there.
So, I have a question. Not to change the subject. But, do you think that we'll make it through the whole season with people in attendance, or do you think that's going to...
I don't think it's going anywhere. They've already had the first games of college football.
Okay.
They've already had baseball has already been around playing since April.
Okay.
Right? They had the Olympics, but I believe they had like
Japan didn't allow a lot of spectators.
Yeah, they didn't allow many or hardly any spectators.
Here's another question for you. We are changing broadcasting this year, correct?
Yes.
Do you think that's going to affect anything? Do you think that's going to make hockey more available to more people?
That's what the plan is going to be.
Okay.
Because putting it on the ESPN/Disney platform is going to allow hockey to be everywhere now.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Right. That's what I mean. Like,
yeah. Anywhere that Disney is, there's going to be hockey.
Right.
Anywhere there's ESPN, there's going to be hockey. I mean, they're already including it in their promos now.
Right. I mean, it's great.
Okay.
Hey, more exposure means, more exposure.
I hope that ESPN does it right, because I'm a little bit worried. They put they're going to be putting a lot of quote unquote new faces there, where some of the people that probably should be there aren't.
Okay.
But hey, that's my opinion. I'm entitled to that, you know what I mean? But I don't know. I'm a little bit worried about the quality of the extracurricular stuff. All the extra shows.
Like the talk shows,
everything that goes along with it.
Yeah, okay. The analysis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Are they going to provide that? Are they going to be as in-depth with that as they are with the NBA, as they are with Major League Baseball? Is that going to be included in there at the same level as the NFL?
We'll see.
Because I'm here to tell you, when ESPN wasn't showing hockey,
they didn't talk about hockey.
They barely talked about hockey. It was barely on their ticker, right? Like you would barely see scores that would go by. You know what I mean? So it's like now suddenly you're calling games now. Alrighty then.
So who's playing on the Winter Classic? Have they announced that yet?
I don't know. I don't know if they're, because these protocols have just come out.
Well, they have one scheduled.
Oh, they do?
It's on the schedule this year.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Who is it?
I don't know. Hold on. I thought maybe you knew. I knew something he didn't know. I bet it's Minnesota and somebody, since it's going to be in Minnesota.
Oh, well, hey, what do you know?
Blues versus Wild.
Oh, well, that would be cool if they could do it. Where are they going to do it at?
In Minnesota.
Oh, in Minnesota.
In Minneapolis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Well, hey. That should be an interesting game. But that's January 1st.
Right.
Is when that's supposed to go. And then I believe the Olympics is in February.
Correct.
Yeah. So, all right. Now that we got the protocol stuff out of the way and all that other happiness, let's actually talk about some Flyers stuff.
You got 7 minutes.
All right. I think I can fill 7 minutes with Flyers talk. What do you guys think? Huh? I think I can fill 7 minutes.
I'm kidding.
All right. Congratulations to Sean Couturier for signing a contract extension.
That's awesome.
Yeah, buddy.
Coots is staying on the team for a while.
For the next 8 seasons.
Wow.
At $7.75 million a year. Nice. Now, this extension does not kick in until next season. Okay. He still has to play out this contract and then...
Well, yeah, but at least it's already in place and there's no question and there's no contract holdouts or any baloney or whatever.
Exactly.
It's done.
Exactly. Speaking of signing contract extensions, another Philadelphia Flyer has signed a contract extension as well, too, for the next 6 years. It's our favorite player, Joel Furby. $30 million for the next 6 years, $5 million AVV. So,
do you know what's sad about Joel Farabee?
What's that?
He was born February 25th. Want to guess what year?
91.
2000.
Oh, that's even worse. Anyway.
Yeah.
No, we're not old, really. But yeah, he signed a extension as well, too. So that's awesome sauce. I'm glad to see Joel coming back around. Good news out of development camp for the Flyers that they just wrapped up last week. They did really well. Things went very well. It was good to see some of the players back into town.
Yeah. Cool.
You know, so I'm excited at the number of things that Chuck has done this past off season.
So wait, I'm sorry. You said you're what about Chuck?
Excited about the things that Chuck has done this past off season.
I'm sorry. There must be something in my ear.
All right. I was gonna try to not have to do that. But okay. On every show that I've been on so far, especially with Hockey Writers Inc., because I've been so overly critical of Mr. Fletcher, that I'm now rescinding some of the things that I've said about Mr. Fletcher. Chucky Baby, as we like to call him. I'm scratching my head on a few of the moves. But I'd have to say, for the most part, 85%, I'm very excited.
That's good.
Carter Hart was re-signed, and I think that was a major cog that needed to be taken care of. A top-line defenseman was needed to pair with Provorov. And that little box was checked off. I got to talk to a good friend of mine a couple weeks ago about his thoughts on the off-season of Mr. Fletcher.
Don't say who.
And this really good friend of mine was saying that there was a lot of boxes that needed to be checked off for this off-season.
Right.
And felt, as I did and as Lance Green and I from Hockey Writers Inc. Also felt that there were a lot of boxes that needed to be checked off this past offseason. Which is why I was very overly critical of Mr. Fletcher. And this friend that I talked to said that he felt that all but one of the boxes were checked off.
Which one wasn't checked?
And I thought, okay, which one wasn't checked?
Right, which is what I said.
Right, and he said that it was a head-turning offensive player. An offensive player that the other team has to account for.
That has to worry about?
An offensive player that the other team has to worry about, has to game plan for, has to always be worried about when that player is on the ice.
Right.
And this good friend of mine felt that the Flyers did everything but check that box off.
Right.
Right? And I thought, well, gosh, they got some shoot first people. They got some, you know what I mean? They did a lot of it.
We'll see.
Cam Atkinson is one of the players I'm going to be very excited to see. He's one of those guys that's a shoot first guy. I'm excited to see that.
Okay.
All right. One of the other boxes that was checked off was that top pairing defenseman with Ellis. That was a beautiful move.
Yeah.
The moves that Mr. Fletcher did that moved Nolan Patrick, Gostisbehere, Voracek, lost those contracts. Like, I can't believe that they didn't have to eat any money from Voracek's contract. I can't believe Columbus was like, all right, here, we'll take it.
Well,
Whatever. Okay, here you go. You know what I mean? So, more power to you. Wish you well, Mr. Voracek. Appreciate all the time here in Philadelphia.
Good success and
Yeah, wish you the best success. You know what I'm saying? But those kind of things were the things that I think Fletcher needed to do. Okay? And bringing in some of those players like Ristolainen. Yes, we traded a first-round draft pick, 13th overall, for a player who was selected 8th overall in the first round for his draft.
Okay.
Which was only a couple years prior. Okay? So I attuned that to like the Minka Fitzpatrick trade.
You're drafting a number 1 draft pick that's already proven himself.
Right. You're trading.
Right.
For a
right.
Yeah, number 1 draft pick that's already proven himself for a pick that's of similar level.
Right, but you don't know yet because
that player hasn't played a lick in the NHL, and this guy has. All right, he played for Buffalo, so all of his Corsi numbers are all off the charts crap. Okay, I get it. And he also played as a number 1 defenseman, and he clearly is not a number 1 defenseman. He will be playing on the second pairing.
Okay.
For Philadelphia, which is where he belongs.
All right.
So I think he will thrive.
That's good.
Right? Yeah, I think he'll thrive. And so I think that's going to be good for Philadelphia.
Okay.
Okay. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen with this team this year. I ate a lot of crow because of my overcritical analyst of Mr. Fletcher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it was deserved. Because he did nothing last year, and the team stunk, and took all of our young players took 2 steps back, and the team regressed.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so that is okay. There's your one.
Okay.
I mean, everybody gets a whiff or a mulligan or whatever you want to call it. There's your one, Mr.
Right.
Fletcher. Okay.
It was, and it was a wonky season, and it was following a wonky season, and I think getting things back on schedule is going to help everyone, especially the Flyers.
Okay. All I have to do is point to a certain team that won the Cup 2 years in a row.
Well, that's true.
They played more games, longer into the seasons, had less time off. Right?
Yeah.
Still faced the same situations that everybody else faced this year, and still was able to win the Cup again.
I know. However, you have to admit that the last 2 seasons have been off. And although some teams can recover from that, other teams can't do so well with that. So what I'm saying is I'm looking forward to seeing a full season from this coach, because we still haven't had that.
Yes, we have. No, you're right. I haven't.
We've not had a full season with AV as coach. I want to see how the whole season goes.
Yeah, because his first season, they went to Prague and all that, and then it got cut short.
Right.
Because of COVID, and then they went to the bubble, and then, okay.
But they were doing well right before COVID hit.
See, that whole bubble thing just threw the whole Flyers for a loop, because that changed the trajectory of that team. Because they were one of the hottest teams in the NHL at that time. Konechny was being that pesty nudge who was getting up in your face and being real physical. And when he got into the bubble, he wasn't that player anymore.
Right. I mean, like I said, everything changed.
So I'm interested to see, number one, how the first 20 games are going to be for the Flyers.
Okay.
Wow.
I really hope.
Last year, the Flyers actually had a pretty decent winning record the first 20 games.
Right.
So that was quite the shock. We were like, oh, okay, so AV got a pretty good record out of the gate. Let's see how it goes. Actually, no. This is going to be the first season. I'm trying to think. Let me just double check the memory banks. Because I only
You
have...
can see the smoke coming out of his ears.
Oh, no, see, I only have one brain cell, right? And so, but I have to send that one brain cell deep into the cellar. Because, 2 years ago was pretty far back, so... No, see, I think... Yeah, that was... Okay. All right. Anyway, so...
The memory bank, the bell...
Yeah, we went to the end of the memory bank and came back with no results found.
Please try rephrasing your search.
Yes, no results found. Error. But very much looking forward to the Flyers this season. I know a lot of people are tough against Martin Jones. He's not been the best of goalies, I guess, per se. But look at the team he played for. He did play for the Sharks. I really think this is going to be a bounce back year for the Flyers. It is that every other year where they get to have a winning season and make the playoffs. So this is one of the years where they're slated to make the playoffs. Hey, well, hopefully they will. So there you go. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
Sounds good to you.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap up the show for the Steel Flyers All Sports Network. This is the Steel Flyers podcast. I'm your host, Steel Flyers, along with our great co-host, RoNece. How you doing?
And our co-host, Asti Bella.
Ah, yes, the co-host.
Right.
Right, yes. Actually, she's more of the... assistant co-host. Yeah, the assistant co-host. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for checking us out. Really appreciate it. We will be back next time with another new one with lots of great information and more great stuff about all the great teams. Just remember, folks, stay safe, stay strong, and hang tough.